Alrighty, I think we are good. Jonathan Talks Hardware, how's it going, sir? See you in the chat early. Give me a thumbs up if everything's coming in okay as far as audio and video. Had some screen flicker going on with my capture card, so I'm hoping it's not causing any issues, but I'm gonna have to get more of a dedicated capture card for this setup. But okay, so Jonathan says we are good, so we'll get right into it, everybody. So a little different stream time than my normal. I haven't done one in a while, and two, I'm busy tomorrow night with school kids stuff and football practice and all that, so I'm not going to be able to do a live stream normally when I do them on Monday. So we're going to do one on a Sunday night football night, so hopefully don't take up too much time building this PC and we can get out to watching our football games. But yeah, so what we got today is a bit of a different build, actually a very different build what I've done before. This is a mini PC build, and actually right here, right below this RAM that I got stacked here, this black box is the PC case. So this is a Velka 3. It's been popular amongst the other YouTube content creators as far as building a very tiny, small form factor PC, the smallest PC I've ever built. It's coming in about, I think, a fair bit smaller than your Xbox or PlayStation 5 these days. So the difference, though, is this one's going to have a lot more horsepower than those two things. So yeah, they just got the parts from a buddy of mine. He was looking to get this built up. He's doing a refresh on his home system, gaming system, and he basically bought all the parts and sent it to me and said, hey, put it together for me. So I can't complain about that. That's free content for me. So here we are, and this is what we're going to do. So I've got all the parts kind of spread out here on my table as I normally do in fashion of doing PC builds, but I am going to kind of make some room here. One thing too is this is going to be a little bit of a different live stream where I'm going to be heavily consulting the manual on this Velka build, because I've never built in one of these, and they're very, very particular on how you put things in and what certain order, otherwise you're not going to cram everything in there. So let me give you an idea. I'm going to get a lot of the parts off the table and we'll get cracking on this build. So we're going to just make sure, so the main thing here, like most PC builds, is getting the motherboard prepped for the build. So I'm getting the bare minimum things that I need right now as far as getting it ready for the Velka build. And we'll need that, that's parts, and then get this RAM just up out of the way. So some of these parts too, I want to make mention of. Some my friend pulled from some of his hardware that he had already, and some of it he bought brand new, so we'll kind of talk about that, but really not targeting any type of particular budget with this. This is more of just, hey, got some parts on hand and we're going to build this, and then we're going to benchmark it in a later video. So all right, just jumping into the chat here, what we got going on here. We got Kush. It's a shame that it's hard to find affordable flex PSUs that won't blow up on you. Yeah, hopefully we'll get into the one that my friend chose. So again, he pretty much sourced all the parts, bought them, and then sent them to me. Yeah, and I've heard the flex power supplies, specifically if you go through like Velka, they're really expensive. So hopefully his PSU that he chose doesn't blow up on him. I don't know much about it, so I'm hoping he did a little bit of that research on his. But let's see if I can do it in 20 minutes, says one-on-one. That is not going to happen. Sorry. We're going to be kind of, I could probably speed build a PC that I don't have to worry about trying to cram in just this tiny little case. But yeah, definitely going to have to be consulting manuals and stuff, which I'm going to actually put up on screen for you guys so we can kind of see how that goes. All right, I'm going to get the case just over there since that's really not much taking up space, so we'll leave it on the table. Just checking out the chat here. We've got some people popping off here. Sorry, I can't quite pronounce your name. V-U-R-R-X Verxel. Daddy Unk, please respond. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. The one in the description is hopefully an OEM rebrand of the enhanced. Okay, so Kush, looks like you kind of know your stuff about the power supplies and stuff, so I'm hoping you're right on that, and it's just an OEM and we'll be good and no explosions. Steven Anderson says, is this a $699.99 PC that will beat a PS5 Pro? So no, that's this PC is not, like I said earlier, not targeted on a particular like budget, like trying to make things cheap as possible. This is more, my friend had some parts that he wanted to put in here. Well, as I said, we'll get into it. Some of them are a bit over the top in terms of the amount of storage and RAM. Again, it's his personal system, so he went and spent money on it. Now, it would be cool to revisit maybe a build like this. Now, these I think these Velka cases are about like $150 or so. So it would be kind of fun to like actually do like a very budget tailored build that would beat that price point, like the PS5 Pro. And $700, I could build a pretty powerful PC for $700. I just don't know how easy it would be to fit in a Velka case. So that's a good idea, Steven. Maybe we'll revisit that. Yeah, so all right, so we got a lot of, I'm trying to keep up with you guys talking, so I will try to glance back at my screen, but let's get to building here. So we're gonna open up the motherboard box here already. And we got a few things, like I said, that were already parts that he had on hand. This motherboard actually is one of them that he's had for a bit, but he's kept the box and stuff just like any good PC enthusiast would. He wants me to use some Cryonaut Extreme for the thermal paste, so we'll be doing that. Yeah, there's like hints of what he wants me to do inside this motherboard box. I'll show you guys. And then we've got the B550AX from Gigabyte. Really nice board. I think they're not cheap, but no ITX board really is. And then the thing, you got some armor on the back. So we got 2 NVMe slots, 2 dual RAM slots, which is pretty common with an ITX build. And this will be our platform we're going to be building from. So I'm going to get that to the side real quick because I think there's a couple more parts in here that I have to get out that he needs me to use. He did buy his own individual heatsink spreader for the back NVMe slot. Like I said, he thought of just about everything. Like, he put this all together and he just handed me the parts. I think we're good for everything else, maybe other than an M.2 standoff we might need. Just gonna get that out of the way. All right, for now, I think we're good. We're gonna just get the motherboard on the box and start prepping the board. You NPC. Kush is an NPC. I don't know. It seemed like Kush kind of knew what he was talking about as far as hardware. I don't know if I'd be calling him an NPC. All right, so that's the motherboard we got, the B550AX. I'm going to do the full overhead in here real quick. And then for our next part here, we've got, I just threw it in a Ryzen 7 box that I have, but we actually have a Ryzen 7 5700X3D. So pretty stout CPU. He did actually buy it from AliExpress, so that's why there was no box. That's why I just had a prep, box just for the thumbnail, basically. But what we have here is one of the better CPUs that you can get in this platform. Yeah, the 5800X3D is probably your best one in terms of like gaming performance. And then you could go with the higher core count CPUs if you really wanted to. The thing here, though, is like you got to be careful about some of the parts you choose here as well, because they could, produce more heat than you really want. So basically, his idea with going with this was just more for the value. Found a good deal on AliExpress and snagged that. I forget what he paid for it, but he said the real main reason was just value. So we're just gonna get this guy installed real quick. Pop open the clamshell here carefully. And as I mentioned here, Ryzen, let me turn it this way, 5700X3D, there we go. So let's get this guy in here. Let's open up that retention arm, drop it in, there we go. All right, next thing on the list, since we're working through it, we're gonna have to go with the cooler, I think. Now we got a request too from my friend that wants me to build this. So we've got the, what is this again? This is the APX90 low profile cooler. So basically, it stands up very, very low on the board, but it's got a 90 millimeter fan. We're gonna try to retrofit it with a 120 millimeter fan. He's actually got a kit that helps do that, so that'll be a first for me. But basically, we're going to get this cooler on there, at least probably, I think I might have to outfit the kit on the cooler before I even get the cooler down on the motherboard. So there's a back plate here. All right, so we'll need that, and then grab the actual cooler out of the box. Get this out of the way. Thermalite, little tiny, very thin. Like I said, doesn't stand up real high. Even the fan itself, very low profile in terms of cooling. So he, like I said, he mentioned he found a kit that you can basically outfit a larger cooler or a larger fan. The idea here is to try to increase the cooling capacity because we are putting some pretty solid hardware at it, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. That's what we're going to find out here on stream. All right, let me get the rest of it out. I think we got some screws and stuff here that come with the cooler, and then the rest of it. Might keep the installation guide handy. Doesn't look like it's all that complicated though, and get the rest of this out of the way. Okay. Lots of debate about the PS5 or the PS5 Pro. I haven't actually looked too much into it. I didn't even know it was coming out until I saw like a thumbnail from a Jay's 2 Cents video or something, where I think he built a $700 PC to compete with that. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, so I'll have to look more into that. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge about that. Sounds like though they did kick up the price by about $200, but I guess for a Pro model, you know, I guess that's to be expected. I don't know if we're gonna. I'm a little hesitant about installing the RAM just at the moment because I want to get this retrofit going. So I'm gonna work on that. And he's got the kit tucked away in one of these hardware boxes. Actually, the Flex ATU, the Flex power supply box. So we'll get that ready to go. Because once we get it in that case, there's basically no more working on it. And I've just got, my dog's got something, just make sure he's not doing anything he shouldn't be. Okay, he's got a toy. Okay, there we go. So let me show you the kit here. So it's like a 3D printed bracket. Let me go full mate and overhead here. Like a 3D printed bracket that's basically supposed to like help you retrofit a 120 millimeter fan. There's two brackets here though. I'm not sure exactly which one to use, but we're gonna work on this and see what we find. I need to get that fan. Actually, I think I have it over here. Yeah. There we go. Left it in the box. But the idea was add a little RGB bling and try to get a 120 millimeter fan on it. So this is, let me show you the fan here that we're gonna try to work with. Now this fan is a kind of like a lower profile fan, so its height is, like I said, my buddy thought of everything here, but the idea is here is basically get it down over the board like that. I don't know if it's going to work. It all depends on how well it retrofits that cooler, but yeah, it looks like the RAM definitely is going to have to go in first because it's going to be over the top of the RAM. Let's just see here. See if I can get this old fan, because we're going to be ditching the 90 millimeter fan it comes with, so let's get it off the bracket here. And we have to retain that clip because it's going to use that, I think. There we go. So now we just got that as far as just the heatsink density, which I think it actually would be fine for a 90 millimeter. Yeah, I think. Well, let me take off these screws first because these got to go anyway. The old AMD bracket. Check out the chat while I'm doing this. Jonathan Talks Hardware says I recently upgraded from an MT 2600X to a 5500X. Yeah, that's a pretty good upgrade. 2600, that 2000 series Ryzen is getting pretty old these days. Still decent if you can pick it up for like really cheap, maybe to build like a entry level like 1080p system. I wouldn't probably go further down than that. Like the original series Ryzens are quite a bit less in terms of performance. Let's see here. Ed Bailey, my fave CPU. I got the Ryzen 5. Okay, he's got a 5600 as well. Cool. And then LMN Guit. Sorry, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names there, or your screen names. Yeah, the live will be, if you're not able to watch it, all my lives go up on my, so you can check out the VOD afterwards. So it should just be, if you go to my channel, just select lives, it'll be there. So if you can't stay for the whole show, that's okay. But do appreciate you being here now, at least in the meantime. All right, so this is going to be the most complex part of this build that I have to figure out. And we even got instructions. Like I said, my buddy thought of everything. So the idea here is, I'm going to put it kind of on the overhead, is this is the bracket. So I guess we need to use the one, okay, I guess that looks like that's it. Something like that. And then it's supposed to help you retrofit. So you take off the 90mm fan, you grab the bracket, or the these little clips, the wire clips, adhere it to the bracket or 3D printed, thing, and then we're able to basically get it down on the CPU cooler or the heatsink, and then mounting the fan, I believe we just screw it down. Still remains to be seen. The only problem is this instruction is in Chinese, so that's the tough thing about it. And now I'm wondering, I think I might have to get the heatsink mounted, because now if I think about that, the fan is going to go over the top and I won't be able to access mounting it. So I'm going to have to mount the heatsink first. So let's work on that. And I don't think there's any particular wrong way of doing this. So it looks like the heat pipe's kind of sticking out both directions. I don't know if it's going to go like this. It could actually, but that's why I'm going to check out. I've never used this cooler though, so I want to check out the mounting instructions for AM4. Here we go. All right, so yeah, take that stuff off. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it looks like they've got the way the heat pipes are pointed. Yeah, it's hard to really tell. I think they're kind of pointed more towards the RAM, so I think it's more gonna sit like this, something like that. All right, let's get on to it. Got to get some of the hardware out of here. I think we've definitely confirmed that I need to get the heatsink mounted, just the the block of heatsink mounted down first, and then we'll proceed with the retrofit. So I'm gonna need my back plate. I'm gonna get this out of the way for a moment, and we've got some hardware here from Thermalright for the cooler. All the bracketry and stuff for that, and some included thermal paste, but he wants me to take it to the next level. I understand going kind of like picky on thermal paste for these kinds of builds, because yeah, you want to try to get I guess as best thermal performance as possible because of the footprint of the actual system, it being so small. And okay, so we've got, I don't know if he got into this earlier or what, but we're sorting things out here, and apologies if you hear a whining dog. He's just right outside my door. He's trying to get to my kids. Okay, let's see. He's just a little puppy, so always needing attention. All right. So we removed the original AM4 stuff, and then we need the bracket. And this instruction is not the greatest. So I think with okay, I need AM4. So this side of it, we're gonna flip over, bring this all more into view here, and then I think we need to, I think what it's saying is we need to get it something like this. Looks like, oh, there's a sticker, I think. over the top of it. Yeah, that's the sticky part to help adhere it to the back. So it looks like that is going to line up with all of our holes. That's good. Just kind of running through prep here to make sure I got it correctly. And then, okay, what is this? All right. Instructions aren't amazing here. Oh, okay. Remove the pre-lock LGA 1700 bracket. I didn't have any of that. Plastic support, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It looks like... Okay, so the little nuts here are going to grab, I think, the smaller end of the cooler. There we go. Looks like we're going across like this. Okay, so all right, we need to get the back part of the bracket backplate installed. Original backplate screw nuts. What? Those don't come off. Interesting. And just looking at how it's mentioning the original backplate. So I think I see what we need to do. So I need to thread this small guy through and get it at least through the hole, and then we got to put little tiny nuts on the back. So I'm going to get it adhered to the back of the motherboard here. Just take the sticker off. Oh, that's not to adhere it. Well, maybe that's this. Nope. Okay, so these are just plastic protection film to make sure you don't short anything out. I thought it would help get it to stick to the board, but I guess not. So we're gonna have to kind of finagle it here a bit. This might be a little hard for you guys to see. Okay, so that's, no, I don't think that's correct. Or unless, there's no way. Okay, still working this out here. Let's see. Complicated cooler install. Okay, that's sticking up through, yeah. No, that's not right. What in the world? Remove original plastic support. Yep, did that. With screwdriver. Remove pre-installed for it. Yep, did that. Then I don't know which step is which. So then remove the pre-lock LGA 1700 bracket. I don't know why it's... Okay. Sorry guys, this is a bit of a complicated cooler install that I wasn't necessarily anticipating. Let's see here. Just looking, I'm just kind of running through things here. So that, yeah, I can't thread that. That ain't gonna work. What else is, oh, there's more hardware. These. Let's take a look at these. Are these different links? Okay. Doesn't really look like it. This looks like it's identical to the other. And full bracket pinched on. Nope. Or that's a. I don't know what's going. Ugh. Let's see here. Might have to look up a quick tutorial how to get this dang cooler mounted, because not very good instruction. It's really hard to tell what it's asking you to do. Okay, wait. I think I might got it. So this guy like that. This guy maybe goes through instead. That seems like that's sticking really far through. But that appears to be what it's telling you to do. So this, I'm just going to kind of YOLO for a moment just to kind of see if this is actually, this seems like this is going to stick out way too far in the back of the motherboard. So I'm not entirely confident that this is the way it's intended to be mounted, but it might be. Alright, so then we've got that kind of like that. So then top side. Now let's keep going with it. See what happens here. Get another nut on this screw. No, okay. That stopped. Oh boy. Got that nut on the wrong way or something. I definitely appreciate you guys being here and conversating in the chat. I would be a little more chatty with you guys and reading the chat, which I'm hopefully getting back to here shortly, but just trying to figure out how this cooler goes on this dang motherboard. I'm hoping I've got it correct. That is taller. So we've got different length. These different lengths. Yeah. Okay. Well, I put this taller one through, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But I think we've got it possibly going correctly, because now let's see. This would come down over the top. That looks like that might be right. Turn it that way. Nope. Okay. Does this... This is fight me. In terms of... Jeez. I don't like this cooler at all anymore. Okay. It's really frustrating on exactly what you're supposed to do. I feel like this has, what they're looking for you to do is this comes up through the cooler like that, through the motherboard, and then somehow you got to lock it down on the motherboard, on the back of the motherboard. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense, because right now these are sticking up not anywhere near where they need to be. Yeah, that ain't gonna make it. That is not going to work. But I'm also looking at this cooler doesn't seem to line up like these with the holes on the motherboard at all. Unless there's some type of offset, which I think there is because there's these brackets. Let's double check that. Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Alright, which one is which? That seems really short. Probably like that. That's going to impede with that, so hopefully this is right. This also screws down. This is a complicated cooler. I feel like it shouldn't be this complicated. Okay. Okay, someone's had it. Ed Bailey says, I've had it. It's not a bad cooler. Yes, you do. You got used brackets. I had to use the brackets for the AM4. Okay. Gotta use the brackets. Yeah, I see that. I think I started off doing this incorrectly. I think I might have to. The instruction is not very helpful. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of could be better. I didn't think I would struggle this much with the cooler install, so didn't really look too much into it because I've installed CPU coolers many times. Okay, so we've got that in place. I think that's not going. That's the only way that can go. Now, not like that. No way it goes like that either. How do you get it adhered to the back? All right, so we've got short and long. Cooler feels so yeah, the cooler is really screw me up here because the directions are terrible. It's like 4 pictures and there's tons of parts. Okay, so that sits up. That makes sense for that to sit like that. Let me just kind of pre-fit things before I screw anything down. I think get over there. Okay. So I'm just gonna lay that down. So there is a bracket that's only seeming to, it looks like the bracket also screws onto these things. And then this somehow attaches to the bracket. My goodness. Is this, can you take that off? Oh, hold on. I think I see what it says now. Remove the pre-lock LGA 1700 bracket. So I think that's what this is. That's got to be what that is. I don't know why they say pre-lock, but it looks like, okay. Now it's making sense. So this has got to come off. All right. So I'm going to have to peel that off. Okay. I think we're on the right track now, at least partially. So this will be, don't lose those. These brackets are also not labeled, so I don't know what is what. 1700. I don't think the other ones are labeled though. Nope. Well, at least this one is. We know. We're at least following the step that they told us to follow correctly now. I thought this was just like a generic bracket that remains attached to the cooler and then you use another bracket or something to adhere to the motherboard. So I was incorrect on that. Okay. Now we've got this. So believe this is the AM4 because that seems to be what lines up with the hole pattern. The other one that we had, again, is not labeled, so I have no idea what it goes to. No label. But none of the other holes match up, so pretty sure we can push that aside, that as well, and work with these ones because they look to be the correct. Okay. Now, make sure that goes on the correct way. This has to go on. Okay. It has to go on the inside part of the cooler. Let me double check. Yeah, it doesn't really tell you. But I think that comes off from the inside. On top or below? Yeah, it wasn't like that. So it was the other one was in there like this. So let's get the motherboard over here for a second. Wow, we're 40 minutes in and we've only got the CPU installed. Doing good. Doing good. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to try to hold in place and install at the same time. Lucky for a magnetic screwdriver, otherwise this would be difficult. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ed, for helping me out here. Usually a lot of coolers do come with Intel brackets, so I should have thought of that earlier. Like I said, not my first rodeo with coolers, but oh well. Alright, just want to get this threaded. Come on. Pull it down. Goodness. Is that going? I think we got it. Biting. Yes, no, maybe so. Or I'm going at it the wrong way. I'll try this direction. There we go. I think that's grabbing it. Nope. Let's get this other one kind of started, hopefully, then things will start to come together. Okay, there's that one. This one's kind of going on wonky. Let me fix that. There we go. Only thing here is, how do you... The screws are almost inaccessible, so I don't know if I put that on right. That's kind of crazy. See that? Huh. Hope I did that right. Let's see. It doesn't really show on the dang pictures. Lovely. It looks like... Okay. Well, I'm going to get the other one on so we can kind of maybe just fit things together a little bit easier, hopefully. There it is. But, yeah, it really only goes one way. Get this other bracket on. Screws from the back. Okay, I was kind of wondering about that because it looks like that would be the only way to do it. Got it. Okay. So they don't have to worry about it being accessible from the top. Thank you again, Ed. These things are a little difficult to get started. Just want to get it started. There we go. Four bolt goes on the back. Okay. Cool. Alright, let's make sure we got this good and snug so we don't have any kind of uneven mounting pressure. That's good. That's good. That's good. Alright. So, returning to the board now. Hopefully we are nearly there at this point. I think I'm seeing how it's going together now. Alright, the holes. Okay. So, it looks like I've turned it maybe this way. Okay. Okay. And we've got contact on the CPU. So I need probably the long screws, yeah, it looks like, to come up through the bottom of the board and then screw into the cooler. I think I've seen how this is going. So the shorter ones must have been for Intel. So this is what I'm referring to, are these guys. So there's shorter ones. This is one's a little bit shorter than the other one. So now kind of has to hold everything together. That's what's kind of, I guess, difficult about this. Let me get this lined up first. So we put our AM4 bracket down here, then our long screw guy through one of the screw holes. Then grab the, and now this is where I've got to get thermal paste ready too. Good Lord. This got a little dirty. I'm going to clean that up a sec. One sec. Because this is an all-in-one. Okay, give me some 90-something%, 99% isopropyl. And paper towel here, just because I got a bunch of, it probably wouldn't make any kind of real detriment, but since this is not my PC parts, I want to make sure I'm doing things correctly. So this is just a little dirty here. We're going to clean up the where it touches the CPU. There we go. Beautiful. And clean up the CPU a little. All right, there we go. 99% isopropyl, definitely valuable for that type of operation and good on your components if you need to clean stuff. So, all right, let me get that out of the way. So, I think we're almost there, but I want to get the thermal paste down because as soon as I start wrenching down on this cooler, it's there to stay. And hopefully this retrofit with this fan doesn't require me to have the cooler back out of the system. I don't think it doesn't look like it, but worst case scenario, if I end up wasting a bunch of time on it, that might be something that you guys will just go with a normal fan anyway. Looks like the fan just clips on, so I think we'll be okay. But we've got some thermal paste. You wanted me to use some Cryonaut Extreme, so probably the best possible thermal paste you can get on the market. Pretty pricey stuff too. I think this is probably like 20 bucks or so for thermal paste. I'm sure the standard Thermalright thermal paste is just fine too, but this will definitely perform a little bit better, which is always good for a small form factor build like this, because you want to eke out just about everything you can. So I'm just gonna put like a line, be relatively generous with it. A little dot there, a little dot there. Thermal paste trolls, sound off in the comments. That should give us a good spread. Maybe add a little bit of extra goop right there. More thermal paste is better than not enough. So, okay. Now I gotta try to do this all in one effort here. So I've got this coming up through from the back side of the motherboard, and it's gonna screw on. Golly, I need 2 more hands. This is why I wish this thing kind of like stuck to the back. That's what I thought it was there for initially. All right, let's get that screw through. And cooler to attach. Line everything up. Try to. I don't think I'm making contact at all. Nope. Come on. I don't know how much I have to wedge on this. Now I'm wondering is the brackets, did it have to go on the other side, which would give me a little more room. Yeah, I don't want to keep smashing this thermal paste around. Come on, grab it. It's not quite making it. I think I had to have that bracket on the other side of the heatsink. I'm not even touching. Not even able to grab it. Oh, wait, no. No, I'm not touching it. Well, Ed, you seem to be an expert on this cooler. Did I put this bracket on wrong? Should this have gone on this side? Because I think that would, I'm literally just missing it by the thickness of this bracket here. I can't remember. Somebody replay back in the VOD, but I don't put all screws in first. They don't go. Don't go from the back. All screws in first. Okay, let's check that first. Maybe, yeah, maybe I'm skipping ahead here. Okay, got this guy going on. My goodness. Okay, I'm gonna double check my directions. It's on it, right? Okay, cool. Yep. Okay. Yeah, this directions just kind of suck. I'm not sure what this part of the directions is telling me to do, but okay, so there has to be a nut on the back, so I'm gonna at least do that. Wait, no, that, oh, it has to be, where's the nut go down on the motherboard? Might go down on the motherboard side? No. Oh, I see. I think. Okay. These screw down on this. I think that's what you're referring to as put these down on first. Okay. I've never struggled so much with a cooler in my life. Yeah, because then this one, the padded part here makes contact with motherboard. Oop, trying to get a good shot there. Yeah, there we go. So the padded part makes contact with the motherboard, kind of gives it a squish, and also it's not metal, so it's not, there's no risk of short. Okay, now we're on the right track. Good Lord. And then we should just be able, then we just stick this through. Just make sure I got the right ones. This is a short one. Need the long ones. And then the nut on the back will wrench everything down. Okay. Yeah. I feel like the instructions could have been better. Or maybe I made that hard when it didn't need to be. Okay. Now we can stick this through. Beautiful. That's a lot easier to hold. This over like that. All right. Finally. Sorry, guys. Hopefully at least got a laugh out of that. That was not an easy cooler. And now that I see it, though, it really isn't that bad as far as the design. I just wish the instructions were a little bit more thorough. Is what it is. I won't forget how this is done. There's the last nut. There we go. Dude, Ed, I'm glad you're here, man. Appreciate you being here, because I probably would have stumbled around with this thing for a lot longer. Alright, so they do have a provided little screw nut tool that we just put over the nut like that. And wrench this guy down. Really good contact, but not crazy. So we want to make sure there's no lacking of thermal performance because of the size of this build. So just doing this in a crisscross fashion here. Alright. Don't want to go too ham on this. Just want to get it pretty darn tight. Okay. There we go. And yeah, I can even see some of the smudge out. Not overly too much, but that I think we got good contact with the heatsink. Okay. Jeez. my goodness. Okay. I got a lot of... Just put all this stuff back in the box that it came with. It's starting to become a mess here. But lots of brackets. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget how that's installed. So now begs the question. Okay, where did we had one wire thing? Where did the other one go? Uh-oh. It's around here somewhere. We'll find it. And there's a nut. We have the thin 120 millimeter fan that we're going to try to see if we can retrofit to the cooler, but just to kind of give an idea. Whoa. Now, I guess you can offset it too, so where we need it to go, but I'm wondering if that's going to clear our RAM. May not. I don't think this thing has height adjustability. If it does, then it's not going to be sitting directly on the heatsink. I'm going to try, but I'm going to get the RAM installed real quick just to kind of give us an idea of... I really need to find that other bracket. Where did that wire bracket go? Uh-oh. I hope my dog didn't pick it up. I don't see it anywhere, but I only see one. Okay, let's put that here. I'm going to get the instructions for the cooler out of the way for the moment. Where is that other bracket? Okay, so let's get the RAM down. So the RAM we got here is some low-profile Corsair RGB, not RGB, Corsair Vengeance Pros, I think Pros, yeah, or LPX, that's what it is. This is actually 64 gigs of RAM. It was RAM that my friend had already on hand. We were going to see if we could possibly use some RGB RAM, but it sits way too high. Like I did some test fitting of at least the RAM sitting with the Velka case, and you can't even close the panel on the Velka case, so that wasn't going to work. So we're forced to go with this RAM, and I think a lot of people probably end up going with something like this for these types of builds. So this is a 64 gigs. Like I said, it's a bit overkill for a gaming PC, but like I said, this PC is kind of unique in its own way. It's not following any type of budget. It's just we're here to take on building a super small form factor PC. So we're just going to get these guys in here, and then I'm going to bring that fan back over and see what happens. I don't know if we got clearance. Yeah, the RAM is sticking up. I don't think this bracket allows us any bit of height adjustability, but it might. But that also means that it's not going to sit down on the heatsink. So again, this is what I'm referring to as... my friend found this. He said he couldn't find English instruction, which we already struggled with instructions that were in English, so this is even more fun. But it's supposed to take the AX90 cooler and retrofit it with a 90 millimeter, or I'm sorry, a 120 millimeter fan. But I really, yeah, the way they have that mounted is it like basically sits flush down. Well, let's get the bracket, I guess. Let's start from there. But I don't know if we're gonna, this might be wasted time, and we might just go with the stock fan for now until I can really confirm. This might, oh boy. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Oh, this is 3D printed metal. That's nice. Yeah. That shows it's supposed to sit on the cooler. Yeah, either way, I wouldn't even have a chance of getting this down on the heatsink. I'm literally sitting on the... It might work if you didn't have such a bulky I/O shield cover. Like, you probably would have to take this off. But right now, I'm literally just balancing on the RAM and the I/O shield, and I'm not even touching it. So that ain't... I don't think that's going to work. I don't think I'm going to waste time on that. But yeah, anyway, I think I'm not going to waste time on that. We're just going to get, there's the other bracket. It's still on the fan. Get this guy on because look, it fits perfectly fine. And then if this becomes something actually I can end up working, I'm going to do a little more research on it. I'll definitely maybe like make a short on it. Like I said, I will be doing a follow-up video, summary video of the performance of this PC, but I don't see how this is going to work unless like some serious modifications done. I don't think my friend wants to tear apart the motherboard in a way just to make this work. So we'll see what kind of thermals we'll get from this guy. I've heard pretty good things about these coolers. They're very, tailor built for this type of system. So anyway, we'll circle back. We spent a ton of time on the cooler install, and yeah, I've got a lot more to go, so I don't want to waste too much more time on this and drive you guys away. Again, like I said, I'll do research, figure out if it's even possible or not. Or see if I can maybe find some English instruction. Okay, so let's now getting the fan down here should be pretty easy. It's just clip on, and we'll point the CPU fan header. I'm gonna have to undo the tie. Sometimes I like to leave these tied up if I can, just to keep them nice and bundled up. But actually, I probably could have. Yeah, let's tie that back up. We don't need all the amount of length on this cable. This is a nice cable. It's nicely braided. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna have to switch the bracket around to grab from the other side, and then this guy's gonna go like that. Okay, so this is just gonna grab inside here and then wrench down on the heatsink itself. I think I got that backwards. Yep, I think I did. These things are fun to deal with. There we go. That might... Let's see. Well, let me do it. Now I need to take the RAM out to get my hands in here. This is the fun with building these super small factor PCs. Like someone asked me if I could do a build in 20 minutes. I'd say that he'd be pushing it for a generic easy build, but yeah, something like this, like you kind of run into a bit of trial and error, which I thought would make for some cool content, because you guys can watch me struggle. Let's see. I think that, where's it grab it? Grabs it on the top more. Yeah. So anyway. Okay, I got that side locked down. And I was going to spin it towards me so I can see it. You guys should still be able to kind of follow. And get it. The way these things are, they're kind of wonky. Gonna have to like twist it into place up on the top holes. Come on. That one's like... Alright, there we go. It's on. Yeah, I don't know how that 1 or 20 millimeter is gonna work. Don't think it's gonna. It's like the size of the motherboard, just about. Yeah, like I said, I'll toy with that if I can actually really make that work. Okay, so I don't think this fan will be too bad either as far as noise. I guess that remains to be seen, but I think we'll be okay. Oh, I wedged the cable in there. There we go. All right, so then we got our CPU fan header right here, over here by our EPS power. Get that guy on there, and I think what I can do with this cable is kind of tuck it actually down in there. That'll tuck very, very clean and nice. Getting fingerprints on it. There we go. Let's check that out. That's it's pretty clean. Nicely done. Okay. All right, so now let's get her back in because I needed room for my thumb there. And the last couple things to do for prep, now that we're moving along, is we've got 2 drives. My friend's, his original PC, he had, let me get on the main view here. He said a 6 terabyte system, where he had, or that was his total amount of storage. And he kind of wanted to retain that amount. That is a fair, huge amount of storage for just generic use, but he's got his own use cases for that. You know, whatever you need, but we don't really have a whole lot of space for much of anything else in here. So we've got two NVMe 4 terabyte drives. So we got a total of 8 terabytes. There's like a screw in there or something. One being a Western Digital Black Gen 4 terabyte. That's going to go in the main slot. And then we're going to have a Crucial P3 that's going to go on the back slot. So let's get that rolling. Like I said, the reason we have so much storage is really just because for his own personal uses, and that's what, you know, he wanted, and he wanted to retain, you know, about the same amount that he had in his old system. So we went with this, or he went with this. Yeah, I think he does like a lot of video storage, so that's why. I didn't quite ask him all, like, man, why do you need 8 terabytes? But because these will be two separate 4 terabyte drives, so it's not like they're going to be RAID or whatever. I don't even know if that would work in this type of system. Oh, I need a little small little screwdriver. Nope, I got it. Cool. All right, let's go back to the overhead. This thing's got a gigantic heatsink for the main NVMe slot. Make sure I'm doing this right. How is that wrenched down on there? Do I have to take these screws off? I might have to. Looks like I might have to. Yeah, I gotta get a smaller screwdriver for that one. Yeah, usually you just got the one. Oh. Yeah, I think the screws are grabbing it. Let me get my smaller screwdriver real quick. Just off camera. But I still got you guys on wireless mic. I think I'll need this size. Okay. Most of the time you can do it with just one screwdriver, but sometimes these NVMe screws are really tiny. You'll need a smaller screwdriver. Yeah, my trusty iFixit kit. Yeah, these must be holding that on because these are really long. Wow. Yep, that's why it wasn't moving. Yeah, it's wiggling good now. Infinity Gaming, as long as it isn't infected like an Ace Magic Mini PC LMAO. Yep. Wow, look at this. So this is like an extra chunk of heatsink. This is all metal. And then there's a heatsink underneath. Good Lord. I know some of the faster drives do get warmer, so that's still got a thermal pad on it, so that's good. And like I said, I think he's used this board before. This is the first time I'm seeing it. And we're going to get this Western Digital Black in there, so shove it into slot. I don't think, yeah, we don't need to, yeah, everything else that we just took off will hold it back down as it's supposed to. So then let's get this guy on and down, make sure that's all lined up. I took that off, that screw off first, so let's get that one back on there. Make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, this is the small NVMe screw. I've got some height issue here now. I think we do have one more guy. Yeah. That, or I think what's probably best to do is just do this guy down like that. Okay. Oh, that is like sticking up. Oh, there's like a nut. I gotta remove something. Go back to that. Yeah, that's like pointing up in the air on the rear. I think it needs to come down more. That just feels funny. How was this before? So without the drive in place. Oh, that just like went down over it. But since the drive's in place, man, this piece is just giving me the fits. This build, I can't get it down over that now. That's kind of peculiar. That's weird. All right, I think I need to back off this little nut. So we're gonna work on that. I gotta get another tool for that. Handy dandy iFixit kit. I'm just gonna bring over all the bits now, since we don't know what we need. Not your average run-of-the-mill build, that is for sure. Let's see, probably this size. Nope, bigger. This size. Oh, that's a little in between. Did I put this? No, that's not right. Is it? It's gonna take off the. I think that'll get the nut. Let's see what that grabs it. Because what the extra thing that we got here is another standoff. It's not a screw. I don't think I'm able to grab that. Let's see. I thought that was fine. Nope. What about just a little bigger? Nope. This like I don't seem to have the right one for here. So putting the drive in. Yeah, it sits like up high. Then I can't get this down. Now this technically, I guess, could come down over the top of everything. I think. I don't think that's, yeah, that's not really going to make contact with the NVMe drive, so we need this heatsink part to go down on it. But the way this thing sits in here, it goes around and over. Let me try getting this in here one more time. Yeah, that's... Is it all the way in? Yeah. Nope, not gonna work. Okay, let's see. I believe I need to get this top of that nut off. Wait, is this the right size? Nope. Because there's looks to be a standoff like that's screwed onto the other main standoff. Don't. I might have to get a little tiny wrench to loosen that up. Oh, is that fitting? Maybe that'll work. Let's see. Is this gonna work? There we go. I think I got it, or I'm just spinning over the top of it. No, I'm spinning over the top of it. Good Lord. This build is... Is there a screw to the SSD? No, there isn't. Well, I took off the main screw that comes on the motherboard. Let me look at the back here, because I don't think I need anything. Yeah, that's got a screw already. What about... This was in the motherboard box, but I don't think it's... I think this is just extra. I think this is what's already on there. It appears that way, and this like makes it stand up even higher. Oh, that doesn't even screw onto it. So that screws into one of the normal... Yeah, I gotta get that guy off the top of that standoff. I'm gonna have to get a little tiny... Actually, I think I have a wrench in my studio here, or a pair of pliers. That'll work. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So, this guy... For real? There it goes. Alright, now we're in business. So I'll show you here what I'm dealing with. So there's a like standoff piece that screws onto the standoff. And because that was sitting up so high on the main standoff down here, I couldn't get everything to sit down where I was supposed to. So this, I think, now should be good. That's laying more flat. I probably don't need to screw this on. I just need to screw the actual drive down and then just lay this over the top of it. Let's see if I can get that screw down in there. Yeah, it's too wide. It's fine. So what we'll do here is screw the drive down. I think that was already, that might have been either installed by my friend or somehow was pre-installed on the board, but now we can get this down right. Come on. Why is it going crazy? Yeah, the screw got chewed up a little bit. I have other M. There it goes. Oh, maybe. That M.2 screw might be screwed. Oh, I see like the screw. Oh my goodness, this is so weird. All right, we don't necessarily need the screw, but yeah, the that standoff I took off has a thicker. Yeah, I need to get that down. Let me see if I got another screw. Good Lord. All right. Now I'm really showing off here. Telling me I build PCs without telling me you build PCs. So I got tons of screws here. Let's see if we can find one that works. Need a small threaded one. That one might work. Let's see, that one looks wide. Yeah, I think this will work right here. Let's give this a shot. The heatsink have a plastic liner. No, so this is kind of like your normal standard heatsink with, I think if you mean by plastic liner, just the thermal pad. And then this is just, I think, more of a decorative piece than anything that just goes over the top. But it does screw down and does actually make contact with this. So it does provide a cooling function. Come on, don't go flying across the room. But the screw hole is oddly different. But I think I got one that'll work for an M.2 screw. This guy, I hope. There we go. Beautiful. Now we're in business. So the one that it was originally on, so here's the deal. These are so small to try to show you guys. So this was the screw that was originally on the heatsink, which was screwed into this odd standoff that stood on top of the standoff. So I don't know if that was extra and wasn't supposed to be there. So these work with each other, but this screw has a real wide threading that was not, I could not get in there at all, or it would only work with this standoff, and I can't get in the normal standoff. So, yeah, I don't know if that made any sense, but I got it figured out. I just had to grab a screw that from my kit of screws, and since I've built so many PCs, so I guess that at least tells you that this isn't my first rodeo. I'm just struggling a little bit. All right, so now this should go down easily, and that can just go on top, lay on top, because it's sticky for one, and then this will hold everything kind of basically in place. And hope we're lined up decently well, because I cannot see the screw holes. I don't think we're, oh, that'll help. Yeah, there we go. All right, now we're in business. Yeah, it could have been an option, like I just had to remove it, so. We're okay now. This thing will get thermal performance it needs, and everything's mounted properly. Now, for the rear, let's get that guy going. That one should be way easier because it's just a normal M.2 screw. It's going to take that guy off. Yeah, that one looks like a normal one. All right, we've got that taken care of. Where'd our other drive go? Here we go. And we're going to open our crucial drive that goes on the back. This is the other 4 terabyte drive. We got to grab a knife to open this. Sounds like there's a screw in here too, which I guess I could have taken from here. Oh well, I'll just add it back to my inventory of screws then. It is a Wi-Fi motherboard, Ed. This is the AX, so yeah, we've got the Wi-Fi prongs right here for the antenna. Yeah, so it's a pretty loaded out board. It's, I think, normally like $200 for it. Yeah, this we had an M.2 screw all along that was in this drive. Didn't come with the Western Digital one, which is probably the more expensive drive, which is kind of funny. All right, so then we're gonna mount this guy on the only way it goes. And the screw I took off before. Get that guy down on there. Now, my friend does have a request that I mount, I hope it's not going to become an issue, but mount a additional heatsink plus thermal pad on this guy. I don't think it's probably honestly necessary because Gen 3 drives don't get nearly as hot as Gen 4 or 5. But, you know, he was thinking of everything, so that's what we got here in this little case. So, like I said, he thought of everything. And just got a little tiny, okay, it does, what I was worried about, is it going to stick up too high off the board? It's very thin. A little bit thinner than even the heatsink that came off the front side of the motherboard, but it basically go on just like that. So, should provide some cooling benefit, for sure. So doesn't hurt, like Ed just said. So we're gonna get this guy down. Oh, is this 2 length? Just about, looks like. Actually, I'm gonna set it down like that and just drop the heatsink on it. Try not to touch it too much. And we'll have a little bit of overhang. The tiniest bit. Not bad, not bad. We'll leave it at that. Give us some extra bite for adhesive to cling to the drive. I just hope it sticks on decently well. I'm gonna kind of mash it down a little bit before I get the other sticky side removed. There we go. Oh, oh geez. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, dang it. I'm fumbling big time now. I think I'm going to put it on the drive. I don't know how well that's going to stick. It did come with these little rubber... Oh my gosh, that's what it's for. Sorry for the loud laugh there. So it came with little rubber bands to hold it on. It's like, that's not going to stick. Okay. Man, I believe that's what that's for. So let me take the drive back out. All right, we've got that good and prepped. And then these are real tight. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. Just get a few of these on there to... I thought the thermal pad would be more sticky than it was. It's definitely not super sticky. You know, it's actually funny. I think that's a bit of a critique with some like mini PCs like Ace Magician or whatever that actually have some type of active cooling on the NVMe's. A lot of them are rubber banded on like this. I mean, it works. It's just cheap, I guess. All right. That's not going anywhere. We got it in the grooves too, so it should hold it good and tight. All right, now let's remount the drive. Not the prettiest, oh shoot. Kind of mucked up the thermal pad there a little bit. Not the prettiest mounting, but again, you won't see this, and it provides some extra cooling, so. I wonder what these kits cost. They probably, I'm sure they don't cost too much. Just a little heat sink and thermal pad and some rubber bands. So I'm gonna, if he wants to use that again, we've got one more in there. And he can have the rubber bands. However he's going to use it. Okay. Now, I think we're safe to say the board is prepped. This thing is starting to get heavy too. It already was kind of heavy. And I'm going to save my little NVMe screw. Okay. So, I'm going to take just a quick second to catch my breath. Definitely was not expecting to be at an hour-and-a-half mark and still not even have the motherboard in the system. I need to check what football teams are playing right now. So any big primetime game that anybody paying attention to, anything amazing going on? All my teams have played. I'm a Browns fan, and they won. So I'm good with that. All right, so I think I'm done with the motherboard box itself, which is taking up quite a bit of space. I guess I'll throw that back in there because that's where that came from. And this back in there, as well as the original AM4 mounting hardware. I'll get it bagged up for them later. And just trying to make some space for things to come here. Let me just get this out of the way. Jonathan says, no 120 millimeter fan on that cooler. Didn't pay attention too much. Just doing chores. Yeah, man. Let me grab the... So it's supposed to like have a bracket that adheres to the heatsink. The bracket won't even sit down on the heatsink with the way the motherboard is oriented, as well as the RAM is a little bit taller than the base or the top base of the oops, maybe this will help. The RAM is a little bit too tall for even the top base of the heatsink, so this was sitting like this almost. It was kind of cockeyed. Again, I don't know. Maybe it is possible. And we weren't sure going into that. My friend was just like, hey, you know, I found this kit. It might work. It might not. Let's see if we can make it work. And based on all the struggles I've had so far, now that we're an hour and a half in, I'm going to forego it. I don't think it's actually doable, but it might be. But for now, we're going to forego it just to get the system up and running. Am I installing a dedicated graphics card or is he using integrated graphics? So for one, there is no integrated graphics on the 5700X3D. So yes, we are going dedicated graphics, and you guys will see that here shortly, hopefully. So here's the one thing I want to change gears to. We've got the case out here next to us, and like for size comparison, you know, here's the case, here's the motherboard. So this is gonna be fun getting in there. But I want to go over to my screen share and we check out the steps here on the case assembly. So what it wants you to do is basically get it all torn down first, the case. So we're gonna have to pay very close attention to where all my screws are going. In fact, I'm gonna bring over my iFixit tray or screw tray, so that way we keep good attention to where things are going. And then basically we're gonna run through this and get the case to about where, you know, in the next step right here where it says to install power supply with basically the entire case mostly disassembled, and then kind of go from there. So this is kind of the part I thought would be kind of neat for us to run through, is you guys see me go through the process here and disassemble everything in the Velka steps. So I did take one thing out already. It was kind of wedged in here. This is the hardware kit for the Velka. So there's lots of screws and stuff in here we'll be getting to. But we're going to first, oops, I had a screw stuck on my screwdriver there. Don't want to lose that. We're going to get to disassembling this case, get it to that step point where we need to start installing things. So this is, I did do a little bit of pre-discovery on, I was like, look, I don't want to spend 3 hours trying to figure this out on stream, waste your guys' time and make it, I mean, we've already had some struggles. So I wanted to make it to a point where we could kind of streamline things. So I've partially kind of done it before just to get an idea of how it goes together. That way we can kind of get through it in good time. So Anywho, we're going to go overhead here and just start basically taking screws off and trying to keep track of things. I think what I'll do is, I'm going to, since like I said, I kind of remember how some of this stuff goes together, I'm going to take these side panels off first. Get the screw going here. So this is where we've got the motherboard prepped, ready to go. We're going to get it in this case now. So that's a side panel. I'm going to kind of put it like to the side on my screw tray. Get this screw off here. And this case is real nice, like finish. It's all aluminum. There's no plastic whatsoever. Okay, that was a longer screw, so make sure hopefully I'm paying attention. Yeah, so there's no plastics. This is very, like, all really well done. Okay, that, oh, I forgot on the top. Okay, so we got the two side panel screws loose, but we can't get it off yet because we gotta go to the top here to get, we got two screws here and two screws on the bottom to take the front panel off, which we gotta work on. So we'll do that next. I'll kind of keep these together. This will be the 4 for the front panel. Was the power supply for this more expensive than regular desktops? Yes, it was. We'll get to like the details of what exactly we went with. Flex power supplies, you can go really expensive with them. But I believe it was like $150. There's a link in the description of the stream of the actual unit he went with. He did buy it on AliExpress and he spent $150. So if that tells you anything, that normally like probably retails straight from maybe the manufacturer website or something maybe on Amazon or like Newegg or whatever, it's going to be quite a bit more expensive. But $150, I guess that's, relative speaking, not terrible for a power supply. But yeah, everything in this form factor comes at a premium price, mostly, just because it's not very mainstream. All right, so to get the other side panel off, I have to do some more screws. So these are, that'll be top. So we'll get these two. I actually, like I said, I was doing some exploratory before. I forgot to put one back in. I have it in the screw case. So we're only removing 3 where there is normally 4. So there's 2 here, 2 here. This is like on the front side of the case, which may be hard to tell now since we took off the front panel. And just trying to keep track of these the best I can, because that's where you can get into trouble with this type of build. There's a bunch of different kinds of screws, and they go in one particular place. All right, so we're going to pull that panel off. So the panels are actually, I think, identical in like shape and size. So here we go. Here's the 2 panels. Yeah, they're basically identical. So getting them back together shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm going to just get them off to the side for now. And we're getting close. So if we remember, if I go back to my screen share, right here, we want to get the power supply, or we want to get the case broken down to this point. So from here, that's where you start putting in your first component, which is the flex power supply, which I'm going to run into a fun little issue right off the bat, which I noticed when doing my exploratory stuff before I went live. I'll get to that. But basically what we got to do here is we got to get this interior motherboard tray panel out. And I forget how that works. I think there's just more screws. Yeah, there's one long screw right here. They're going to get off the top, so I'll go overhead with you guys. And we'll get back to that. Yeah, the good thing about this case, like what Ed's saying here, is a lot of airflow. It's very open, so that's good for keeping the system cool. Got a long screw right there. I'm going to try to keep track. There was that one, and then, okay, yeah. Then we got some screws here to take off to get the motherboard tray out. So I'm going to kind of just keep with that. So what I'm doing here, guys, to show you, kind of can't see what I'm doing. Try not to. I'm putting my screws into like kind of different locations on my screw tray on my iFixit kit to try to keep track of them the best I can. There. Just so I kind of like, oop, there goes the motherboard tray. Just so I kind of understand their function. All right, so motherboard tray coming out. Can't leave it like that. And then we've got to get these brackets out too. These guys. So, more screws. These ones are easy. That's the actual front side of the case. So I'm going to do, yeah, I think front, like right side, front left side. Yeah, I think this case would look pretty cool with like a front side pan, or a, which is it Infinity Game saying I'd like to have this case with nice, yeah, glass side panel. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, I think that would look cool because then you can definitely see through. The thing with the panels are though, what they're by design. So one of them, so we'll say this would be the side where the CPU is you know, for intake to basically grab outside air and bring it in and basically blast it straight down on your CPU and your VRM and your motherboard. The other side for the GPU. So the GPUs are going to be mounted on the back side. So although it'd be nice to be able to see through it a little more, they're kind of purpose designed built to help provide better cooling. But yeah, I agree. It'd be kind of cool to, I guess if you didn't have like super powerful, power hungry components, that could be doable. But we've got a Ryzen 7 5700X 3D and we'll have a 4060 as the GPU. So yeah, we're gonna have components that are gonna be drawing some fair amount of heat. Okay, now I've got the case where I think we need to have it. Now I'm trying to recall what side is, okay. So this will be the bottom where the power supply is gonna go in. So let's talk about that next. All right, just give me a quick drink of water. All right, so this build is not possible with a normal ATX power supply. Like a normal ATX size power supply is almost the entire size of this case. So obviously you got to go flex, which with a flex power supply that's generally seen in like servers or routers and switches and networking, but also you can use them in for this particular reason. So here's what we got. Now we've got, I think like some kind of Chinese branded, I don't even know if it really says, whatever that says. I don't know. Here, I'll hold it up close to the camera, but yeah, I don't know. Hoping it's, you know, fine as far as being a power supply that isn't going to explode on us. I believe my friend did his research though and found this is fine. Just happened to get it off AliExpress, which is, I guess, more of a, I guess, a knockoff brand maybe, or it is an OEM that isn't, you know, rebranded with, say, like a, you know, like an EVGA or something like that. I don't think EVGA even makes stuff like that. But the idea being is, got the power supply for 150 bucks, where I think you can spend quite a bit more on these flex units. So I guess time will tell. He'll let me know if something wrong happens with this choice of power supply, but I think we're okay. I don't think we're going to have a problem. The only thing is, though, I don't know like anything about the power supply. It doesn't really even say on the actual box anywhere that if it's gold rated, whatever. We've got some input here, so it's a 600 watt. But yeah, we can't really tell from here if like its rating or anything like that. Now, one thing I went ahead and did though ahead of time is installed a 40 millimeter Noctua fan on the back. So the big gripe about these flex power supplies are they're really loud because of this fan is lower quality and it's tiny. So the smaller you go down in fan, the more you can expect to have noise. So again, like I said, my friend thought of everything, and we got a 40 millimeter fan to put into the power supply, and it makes this thing run dead silent. It's awesome. So we've got that at least taken care of, because he wants us to be relatively quiet, all considering, you know, we're shoving some pretty strong hardware into it. But we'll see. Hopefully, you know, time will tell if the power supply is 100% trustworthy. I think so, but I don't know anything about it. So. All right. So here's the other thing I've noticed with the way the power supply needs to install. It has to install in the case upside down, which is fine because the fan it's just an exhaust fan that's drawing air through the power supply and sending it out the back. Did I have that right? Oh, wait. There we go. I think it goes like that. This is why I did some exploratory stuff, because there we go. Yeah, it goes more like that. But if you guys can see, there's a problem with that. All my power leads and connections are facing downward. So I got to get everything plugged in first before I go any further with this. So right here we've got the kind of mini power kit. And the good thing is it's not much, and these power cables are good. They're, you know, one, we don't have ketchup and mustard. Two, they're more like individually braided, so it's nice that they're easier to work with. But we got to get the power supply basically prepped before it can go in, because once I get that guy in there, there's no accessing these cables anymore. And I know based on the hardware, we aren't going to need any auxiliary like SATA power or anything like that. The power supply does come with one, but we're not going to need that, so that's good. We at least have one less cable. Some of these flex units come with everything pre-installed, which can take up a little extra room, so we at least have that benefit to us, that we're only using the amount of cables that we need. All right, so now I'm going to put in, this is the PCIe. The good thing too is this thing's pretty easy to identify what needs to go where. And then CPU. All right, so PCIe, and we even have up to an 8-pin, so that's pretty sweet. CPU, up to an 8-pin, and then your normal typical motherboard 24-pin. So I'm gonna get that kind of just laid out and ready. I need a little more space on my table. I'm running out. May the tech gods be with you on that power supply. Yeah, I think it's fine. Like, I've already tested it and stuff. But long-term use, yeah, well, I mean, I guess we'll find out. We don't know. Unless my friend did do the research and find out, like, how trustworthy of a power supply it is. I didn't really ask him about that. I guess I could have, but I think we'll be okay. All right, just lining up the screws where this is going to go. There's not a real good way to show you guys exactly what I'm doing. Ooh, almost had case panels flying everywhere. All right, I need to get some screws, because what we're doing right now, if we refer back to my screen share and put that back up on screen, we're doing this part right here. Got the power supply down at the bottom, and you only need 2 screws to mount into, like, one on the fan side, one on the power plug side. So we're going to do that real quick. So that's what I'm doing. It's just a little hard for you guys to see. Hopefully my dogs don't start fighting each other right now. They both just walked in here. All right, so the really cool thing about this is the components that come with the case. So they give you this nice little tray with all the screws that you need. So that's pretty neat. And since I know already, it tells you what kind of screw to use in the manual, but we're using these round-headed screws to at least get the power supply mounted. Just gonna get one on my screwdriver and line up the holes. There we go. not going to go all the way down on it just so it doesn't pull it off in that direction until I get the other one threaded and started. And that one's going to go, came off my screwdriver. On the plug side, there we go. Actually, I could probably turn it like this. There we go. That's what I'm doing. Beautiful. Does look like, actually, I'm going to hold off for now, but it does look like there's more screw hole spots that I could probably put at least maybe one more screw in on this side. Here we go. So we did that one and that one. At least got the power supply in. That's the thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that. I don't know which direction I want it to face at the moment. All right, so if we go back to next step here, we're going to get the motherboard mounted down on the motherboard tray. There's 4 screws that come with that. These are the little M3 style screws or whatever. They're like a rounded tip, looks like. Yeah, rounded head, not tip. And get that down. So I'm going to kind of get everything kind of positioned that same way, so you guys can see. And get the stream up. Need a stream deck where I can kind of easily navigate better. I'll probably do that at some point. So it says to get the motherboard tray. I'm going to get this kind of out of the way a little bit. All right, so there's a motherboard tray. For an ITX build, you just have 4 standoffs. So that's pretty standard. And then we're going to get the motherboard down right on top, just like so. All right, we're ready to go with that. Oh, yeah, I can barely see that one. Okay, just make sure I got the orientation. Like, everything is about orientation with these types of builds. Like, things have to be done a very specific way, otherwise you're going to struggle. Just making sure that's right. So I'm looking at the reference model diagram that I showed you earlier. Yeah, that looks, we got it right. Cool. Okay. Now let's grab some of the screws that we need. Just 4 of these small rounded ones. There's a lot of screws that are included, so I'm wondering if they give you a bunch of extras. I guess we'll find out. All right, just gonna get this rolling. One there in the corner, one over in this corner. And then 2 more. Turn that so I can see what I'm doing. Beautiful. Let me get that cable pushed down a little more. All right, cool. All right. We are now mounted on the motherboard tray. Okay, beautiful. Let's go back to the diagram and see what we need to do next. Hopefully this is kind of a different style that you guys are enjoying as far as like seeing things come together. Because I definitely, yeah, I wasn't gonna just try to guess and put this thing together. I need the diagrams. Okay, so next thing we got to do is get our PCIe riser cable set up. Now this diagram, so basically what it's showing here is it's down here is our PCIe slot. The riser cable is going to plug into that, immediately bend backwards and all the way up to the top side of the motherboard where the CPU is, and then bend around again to get our GPU ready. So I got to grab that. I believe we have that in the GPU box. I need to check on that. I believe that's where our riser cable is. So let me check on that. All right, let's see. Okay, get the motherboard off. Now this part I have not, like, so basically I kind of went this far as understanding kind of how things go. Now I am completely in the raw, so wherever we go from here, you know, we're doing it together, guys. I'm going to keep the GPU just in the box for the moment and just get it back out of the way. So we got to work with the riser cable, which we have right here. Again, all this stuff is linked in the description below. definitely you can modify the build the way you want it to. You don't need 64 gigs of RAM. You don't need a 5700 XT. You don't need a 4060. You could do like a 3060 or a 2060 if you're trying to go more on the budget. But we're going with it. Oh, what? There's nothing in here. Oh, maybe that. Kidding. Oh, that was. Oh, hold on. That was just like documentation for the GPU. Where is the riser cable? I know I saw it earlier. I thought I did. No. 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 Might have been in the motherboard box. Or the other box of stuff that he sent me. Hold on. Hold please, I'm just off camera looking for parts. Alright, so let's see. Was it in this box? Go check the motherboard box. Might have to text him. Like, hey man, where's the riser cable? Nope, wasn't in the motherboard box. I know I saw it. I could have sworn I did. I might have set it over elsewhere on my table. Checking. Not there. Where are you? Oh, is this it? Nope, that is not it. That is not it either. Uh-oh. This would be unfortunate. I know he's... Sorry, guys. Is it? Ah, it is. Okay. I thought this was like packaging. Okay, I found it. So that would really stink because we wouldn't get very far. Okay. So this is something I think he also bought off AliExpress. I don't recall exactly. Make sure there's nothing else in here. But I think also this is one of the like approved from Velka cables. Something like that. So here we go. Found it. Let's say I do have a PCIe 4 riser cable that I could use, but it would have been way too long for this, so but I'm glad I found it. Okay, yeah, and this one's going to be helpful because it's really flexible too. So, all right, there's that. And I am really starting to run out of space where I'm putting my trash. Okay, so this only goes in one way. PCIe finger side first, just kind of like as if you're installing a GPU. Turn it around, make sure it faces the right way. Get it on the motherboard like so. Nice, satisfying click. And then what we're going to do, it says, is basically bring it around top side of the motherboard like this, and then fold it down like that. And then it's got screws here that kind of hold it in place right there, which I think is the next step. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I kind of already learned my lesson with that. Double checking. Yeah, okay, it's showing screws that install directly through these screw holes that I'm pointing out. Making sure my dog isn't eating something he's not supposed to. Hey, quit it. No, 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 no. He found the CPU cooler box. Yeah, he's a little like 9-month-old puppy, so he gets into everything. Okay, so yes, so we just need to get that guy down, and then we'll be able to get the GPU attached, which I think is the next step. So let me double check what screws this thing needs. I think it's using the same kind of screw that the motherboard used. Double check, that's the same kind. N3X 0.5, M3X. Yep, same kind. Okay, cool. All right, my foot is cramping. Ow. Okay, so grab one of these guys and get this lined up. Just gonna hold down one side at first. No, oh, didn't lose it. Oh my goodness. Just getting that started, not going to hammer it down just yet. And coming in with the other one. All right, not going to go too crazy because this is just a PCB. It's plastic, so don't want to go ham on that. Okay, so then this will naturally kind of start to do okay there. Okay, perfect. All right. Next, double checking the manual again. So I'm going to show that. So that'll be helpful for you guys. So we got that part done where we got the screws down. It looks like then they immediately, okay. There's a screw that's involved with holding down the GPU on this bracket down below. So refer to that, or I guess it's saying just kind of get it lined up with that. What does the next step show? Next step shows a lot of assembly. So, okay. So I guess we're gonna get our GPU on. Looks like that's what we need to be doing as far as getting it ready. So we're getting pretty close, guys, honestly. All right, so let's go back to the GPU and talk about what that is. You guys might have seen a little bit since I briefly showed it on camera. All right, I'm gonna go full screen here. Get a motherboard assembly scooched. Okay, so what we got here is an RTX 4060. Basically, my friend was just targeting one of the more powerful cards that you can put into a system like this that actually fits. He did make mention that he thinks he saw where they are making a 4070. So the main thing here is, which I'll show you. Like, quit chewing out stuff. Get your toys. Little puppy is going after things he's not supposed to. Okay, so we'll get that out. And then the card has to be a single fan card. There's no more room for anything else. So we've got 4060, single fan card. Should be pretty solid. I mean, honestly, like I said, it's about the most powerful card you can get for this type of system. Yeah, so as time goes on, like always, we tend to see like more powerful cards. Like I said, it might be a 4070 that will come in this type of form factor soon. That'd be pretty cool. So it could be an upgrade for him if he really needs it. 4060 is, you know, it's not the most top of the line card, but it's still a pretty solid card for especially this type of build. Quit eating the boxes, you. Sorry, I'm having to play damage control with the puppy. All right, so bring this back into the fray. Go overhead, and we're going to get the card installed. So take the little protective plastic thing off, and then looks like it's supposed to, I don't think it go, yeah, so it should only go, I think that actually goes over the bracket. Let me double check so I'm not forcing anything weird. Yeah, that goes over the bracket. Okay, got it. So this will be, what I was thinking is the bracket for the graphics card has to go over the, like, has to be out over the top of this. So bring it in here, line it up with the PCIe riser cable, and get it on there. So there we go. It's really starting to come together now, guys. So like I was mentioning on the panels, you can see where one side is for GPU intake, the other side is for CPU intake. They're very purpose built. All right. Okay, so let's move on, and it looks like the steps start to go crazy. So I'll show you guys, like all of a sudden they just show, hey, now just put it back together, which may go all right, I hope. All right, so basically we already have our power supply installed. We're basically getting everything into the chassis at this point, and then screwing down some of the screws. So we got to get the motherboard, like basically this whole assembly into the chassis that I have just off to the side. So I'm going to try to orientate it kind of how the diagrams are. So that way I kind of am doing things like 100% the correct way. So, all right, I think I'm good. And I'll put my view on with you guys. So kind of got it sitting how they had on the diagram. So it's supposed to, oh wait, that showed GPU side. I think it did on this side. Okay, yes. So GPU, so things to keep in mind, the GPU side is going to be on the plug side of the motherboard, the power plug side of the motherboard, and the CPU is going to be on the fan side of the power supply. So CPU, GPU. I'll try to keep it that way. You guys keep me honest with that. So now, hopefully, this is just easy to wedge in there, which doesn't look all that easy. Oh boy. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna try not. What I'm trying not to do is like scratch up, finish, or anything like that. Oh boy. Wow. That is tight. Okay. Coming in. Get the GPU. Okay, GPU. I see. Oh, that's nice. So probably really hard for you guys to see, but the GPU has like a designated like. The case has like a purpose-built like latch or piece of metal it slides right into, so that was helpful. This feels like it's bowing though. Why is it doing that? I think it's just the cables pushing on it. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. It's not metal pushing on metal. That actually didn't go in so bad. That was not bad at all. Okay, let me give you guys a kind of a. What I was talking about here is how the GPU just like slotted right through, and that kind of brought everything together. So now it's like, yeah, sweet, we're going good. All right. There's a bracket I got to install though, which I don't know. I'm checking. Okay, so I got to get that out of my supply kit. There's that, and then there's more screws in more places and stuff. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to get the motherboard standoff screws back on that adhered to the side of the chassis and kind of scrunch everything down where it needs to be. So that is the ones that I was taking off before, I believe. Where did I have that? Those three. Yeah, one of these. Okay. So what we're doing here is, actually I can turn this on the side to show you guys what all, oh no, maybe I can't because everything just kind of fell out. Okay, I'm gonna have to leave it standing as is, at least for the moment, because as soon as I did that, everything just kind of slid out. Get those screw holes lined up. So there's three of those large like brass standoffs for the motherboard tray. I'm adhering or screwing onto the side panel here. Okay, there's one. Also trying very much to not drop a screw, because with my dog that just came in here, he's gonna grab it and run with it. So all right, and now they're playing. Of course, good timing, dogs. Thank you. Excuse me. All right, so we've got. Let me try to get these guys out of here. Hey, quit, get out of here. No, go, get. Sorry, guys. Okay, so then I've got two at the top. So now I can show you because that holds it together. So I got these two on that kind of, at least kind of holds everything together. And then I gotta, now my dog's barking, thank you. Get this guy on. Hang on a second. Hush, you be quiet. Dachshunds, they swear, they are the barkiest dogs ever. I don't know if y'all have ever had one, but man, they can bark so much. Anywho, sorry about that. So I got those two. I'm trying to get figured out where this bracket goes. It goes on the back, and I think actually it really can only go one way, I think. Just tried to see here. Let's go like that. How does that go? I gotta look at the diagram. Okay, so yeah, all right, so I had that right. Screws from underneath also holding the GPU on place with this bracket. Okay, so that looks pretty lined up actually. Beautiful. Yeah, this part's gonna be really hard for you guys to show, but what I'm after, I'll go back to showing what I'm doing. I'm getting this bracket right here. I guess it's the EX one, I don't know. Getting this bracket on, so there's 2 screws that go into the side and then 2 screws that come up underneath that kind of hold the GPU to that bracket and kind of really sturdy things up. So that's what I'm working on. It's kind of hard to show you what I'm doing, but yeah, yeah. So Ed, I think I just answered that. It holds the bracket holds the GPU to the chassis. You got to figure out which screws I'm going after. I don't recall. I think I wasn't sharing. Oh, I was. Okay, cool. Getting lost in. All right, let's go back. Dang dogs. Hey, cut it out. All right, so it needs the BX4 screw. The BX4 screw is, okay, so more of the ones that we use with the motherboard. Same kind. Okay. So we're gonna get the ones that install directly to the chassis first. And then 2 more come up underneath that bring the GPU into the bracket. Actually, I think I can, yeah, there we go. I can turn that like that. Actually, that'll help me with the other 2. Sorry if you guys hear the dogs. I don't know, can you hear my dogs? Like they're choosing the wrong time to be doing this right now. Apologies if you do and if they're loud. One's a puppy annoying the 13-year-old dog, and the 13-year-old dog doesn't want to put up with it, so. You heard him? Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hey, cut it out. Just hoping they don't knock over the camera or something. Hold on, let me deal with them. Cut it out. Get out of here. Go. Hold on. One's now going crazy. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. Okay, so we got the bracket on. We've got it all. Make sure that's good and tight. Yeah, that gives it a lot of good rigidity. That feels good. There's more screws to put in. I think there's one I gotta send right through here. That's that longer one that we took out earlier. Let's go back to, sorry, they were kind of distracting me and getting me really off kilter there. So we've got the 2 on the side, the 4 on the bracket, yeah, and then we just send the one longer one through that we took out earlier, which is this little guy right here. So that just came out of the case previously, and that just hits the screw hole right here on the bottom. That actually threads in nicely in between the GPU bracket spaces and just tightens it all down. Oh yeah, that feels good now. Beautiful. Okay, almost there, I think. Let's refer to the directions on what is next to do. So we did all this. That's good. Moving on. Some more screws. Okay, that's if we have a 2.5 inch drive, which we don't, and so I think we can skip this step. I think this say connect SATA power and data cables to storage, blah blah blah. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're good there. I think we can. Yeah, it's reassembly time basically. Reassembly of the chassis plus get all the power cables connected. So cool. We're nearly there, nearly there. So all right, so let's flip this back this way. And I think this will be the best way to show power connections getting connected, because this is where things might get a little bit creative. So I'm going to go with this power EPS right up here first and make sure I've got the correct one. Yep. Easy way to tell with usually with a EPS versus PCIe, even though they're 8-pin. This one's got obviously the extra 6 plus 2, so to make it 8. PCIe is always broken out that way. EPS CPU power is generally broken out in 4s, so we got 4 on one side, 4 on the other. We have an 8-pin, which I don't know which way the... Okay, yeah, the clamp bracket side goes that way, or the clip side. Let's go here like that. And yeah, this we might have to tinker around with a bit. Hoping not too bad. We've got a little bit of like space behind the power supply, like right back here, that we'll be able to kind of just get everything bunched up nicely. All right, we'll go with a 24 pin. This is going to be real easy to just get things plugged in. And then bring over the PCIe for the GPU, which I'm going to just spin it back around like this. And we'll do it this way. This is the back side. Well, actually, no, that's not going to be able to... Well, try to figure out... Okay, run it like this. I can stand it up. I'm going to connect it first and then finagle my cable. Ooh, this is tight. I'm going to have to bend the cable a little bit. Oh, man. That is... literally doing it with 2 fingers. Oh, I got in the wrong direction with it. Is that the top side? Okay, yep, I was doing it the wrong way. Almost. Here's what I'm trying to get it right in through here. Might actually be a little easier, yeah, doing it this way. There we go. Sure we don't grab that riser cable. Beautiful. All right. Maybe we can tuck this back here a little bit, kind of like so. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have like a bit of a wad of cables, like kind of just chilling back here like this, something like that. I don't know. That's gonna probably be the fun part. Cable management wise, though, there's almost nothing to it, because there really isn't, like, these cables are like kind of the perfect length. It's more or less just kind of getting it like neatly bundled down below. But yeah, so this is like basically we're just gonna get the panels on. I'm trying to decide exactly what's the best way to go about getting what panel on first. I think if we get, this is the front. If we get the front cable or front panel on, it'll kind of help wedge this stuff down. Oh, one thing we gotta make sure we don't forget, which hopefully is accessible, yeah, is the front power button. I just thought of that, so yeah, I think we'll be good here. Just trying to kind of like bend them in a way that allows us to wrench down on it in just a second, because the front panel is gonna kind of like push everything together and kind of close it like that. But I'm gonna take a quick second to take a quick sip of water and check on you guys. All right. Infinity Game says, I like to try and jam the 24 pin into an 8-pin. LOL. Yeah, if you want to break something, I guess. What about the power button? Yeah, I think I just mentioned that, but yeah, that will be the next thing to do while we have everything open still. And actually, I think what I need to do before I put that on, I think I need to get these support brackets installed, which I kind of forget where they go. I think it was, oh yeah. Yeah, I have to do that first. Oh wow, yeah, this is gonna be fun. I believe I have to do that first before I can get anything else back. Oh wait, I think that goes on the side, like that. How did that go? Let's do one side first. So that, then we'll go like that. Yep. So I gotta get this these brackets on first. Kind of, it'll help pull things together a little bit more too. Before I get the, and then we'll get the front panel, because we got the front panel button. That's all we got for the front panel. It's literally just the power button. Everything else, you don't have front USB, nothing. It's just only the button. Ooh, yeah, this is gonna be fun. So I gotta get this. Yowza. I might actually have to, yeah, I'm gonna pull the 24 pin back off so I can just make room for this, and I'm gonna have to find more interesting ways of installing the cables in a cable managed way. So wait, hold on, is that right? Yeah, I believe so. Oh, that was like this. That would make it even harder if I had that. Okay, so I need to get these support brackets back on. So let me work on that. Should just be 4 screws, 2 on each side. Yeah, zip ties will be my friend here for sure. Hey, quit eating that. The little puppy is back. Quit that. No, you can't have that. I'm trying to eat the power supply box. And get this one on first. They really thought of everything with this case too, because all these screws, or screw locations, they're all countersunk to make it nice and flush. So really high quality, super high quality. Just make sure I can get it right. There we go. All right, got one going. Let's show you what I mean by that. So all the countersunk screws, like, so the screws aren't sticking out, they're flush down with the case. Yeah, I don't see where, looking at this more now, I don't see where that 120 would have, let me, I don't know where I put it now, but yeah, that would have been interesting. It could still be doable. Maybe I'll tear it back down and see if I can figure it out, but for now, we're gonna just, because if you guys are new to the channel and the streams, I always test the PCs, make sure they post after we've assembled it. So those cables are pushing on this now. I'm gonna use my body to hold this together, which we should be pretty close to. Technically, I guess we can do it with things open, but I want to see it put together. I think you guys do too, right? That's why you're here. And thank you guys that have stuck around this long, even through my silly struggles that I had before. All right, so that, I need to get one more support bracket on this side. Now that we got the other one on, it's gonna make everything else kind of come together a lot easier. Actually, I'm gonna turn this on this side, because we've got 3 screws to do here. Are those, yeah, these are all the same anyway. That was the last one for the motherboard tray. So one of the motherboard tray screws goes onto this support bracket, which I'm gonna put that one on first to get everything in place. There we go. And this screw here. It's amazing what you can fit in this case. Like, this isn't my PC, but I want one for myself now. Like, this would be so cool for travel. Like, this would fit in your backpack. It'd be quite a bit heavier than, you know, probably a standard laptop. Not too far off, honestly. Like, not bad. But man, the horsepower that's in this thing compared to even a gaming laptop. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to travel with one of these. And that's actually my friend's idea too, is he wants it mobile. So even though minimally take up space on his desk, he wants it so he can also travel easy. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun to squeeze this cable. So I disconnected the 24 pin earlier. I need to send it. Oh my goodness, there we go. It's not too bad. Oh my gosh. There we go. Got it. All right. Just trying to squeeze that in there. Where do the cables go? I think I need to try to send it more towards the back. Behind, like, we got space where the GPU is, but my goodness, I can't hardly get anything. Wow. Yowza. Because we got to get those panels on. There ain't no zip tying. This is just jam and get it in there. There's nothing to zip tie to. There's no room. I'll probably zip tie some of the ones that are more loose, but holy moly. Wow. I'll get more cleaned up with it later on. I think we just want to kind of just get the final panels on. Because where I'm mashing down on cables, that's where the front panel goes. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. We'll go through here. This is the power button cable. I wonder if I can just, where does it show on the diagram where the, I want to see where like the power, oh, okay, so it's, oh, it's more towards the top? No, it's at the bottom. Yeah, it is on the bottom. Lovely. Yep, it's on the bottom. That makes it even harder. Because we got all this cable bulk that we're fighting that I have like no more space, like zero. I'm like smashing down on it. Wow. Okay. Nothing is going to move around inside this case, that's for sure. I'm going to get these top screws on to kind of help me guide my way in. One. Two. Let's get that. Oh man, I should have connected the cable first. And I sent it through the wrong direction. That's fine, I got it. All right. Luckily on the these. Oh man, which one is it? Front panel. Oh geez, I don't know which one it is. So power switch. I'm trying to remember. Power switch is usually the second top two, I believe. So this guy, if I'm correct. If I'm correct. We'll find out. We'll find out. I think what I might do is just leave one panel side off, or maybe both, just so we can kind of like see everything like spinning and moving inside. Holy crap. To get this thing on. Yeah, I gotta put a lot of force on it. I think it's also the power supply, because the power supply leads are pointing down, which is directly towards this. So it's upside down, but directly towards where I'm trying to get a screw on. Oh my gosh. Whew. Sweating. And I did not get it. I think. Yep, I'm gonna do that. I think I'm showing the wrong. Am I showing the right screen? Okay, good. Always look at the stream. Showed a little delay of what I was showing on my OBS. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, there's There's that. And then last one. Yep. All right. Got the panel on. All right, there we go. Whew. That was not fun. Because all my, as we can see, all my cables for the power supply are not only pointing down, which was unfortunate for me, just the design of this power supply. I think some might have them pointing up, because if they were pointing up, man, I'd have a lot more space to work with. But also, because they're pointing down, yeah, I ran into, I'm just fighting them because they're so bunched up underneath there. But yeah, that's like where they're at right there. Not bad. We've got a whole PC assembled, guys. I mean, I think what I'm going to do, one, because I'm hoping I've got the power button plugged into the right spot. I'm going to get these out of the way. I'm going to leave the side panels off. What do you guys think? Should I leave the side panels off so we can see? I mean, it would be good, I guess, to confirm that fans are spinning, all that. I don't think that's a bad thing, right? We can leave the side panels off, and then maybe towards the end I'll throw them on. What do you guys think? Whew, that kind of got me sweaty there, trying to smash that thing on there. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to put it on main screen here. But yeah, here we go. This is the build. You know, basically, I don't know, probably weighs 7-8 pounds maybe, something like that. So yeah, this would be kind of heavy, maybe 10 pounds at the most. This would be kind of heavy in your backpack, but you know, laptops really aren't too much heavier, especially if you got like a gaming one. But here we have it. All right, I say it's moment of truth. You guys have stuck with me this long. Normally my builds don't take this long. Had some struggle moments, but I expected that because this is my first ever like super mini ITX build. Like there is literally no space wasted in this thing. There is room for nothing else. So I think it's pretty darn awesome. Let's get a monitor. Let's get an HDMI cable. Let's give it a post test. All right, monitor. Here you go. Here's your whole setup, right? So imagine traveling, having a portable monitor. Yeah, obviously a laptop's probably a little more convenient, but a portable monitor like so, that folds up kind of like an iPad almost, a lot larger than an iPad. And then you got your little micro PC right here. And this is your setup, right? Not bad. All right, just getting power from my monitor. Oh, and I need to grab power for the PC too. What I'm kind of curious is, hopefully we've got everything plugged in correctly. Because, man, getting back into that thing, I'll just end the stream. I need a power cable for, oh, I got one down here, cool. Okay, there we go. Plug it into our tiny little power supply down below. All right. So we don't have any OS, I don't believe. Like I think we just opened those drives brand new. I know at least one of them we did. So I don't think we have any OS. So basically we're just looking for, does it post and get into a BIOS screen. So I'm gonna take a quick drink before we do that. Dustin says, get a nice little case with foam to fit in nice beak. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, like little Pelican cases. I think those are called. All right, so we've got finger on power button. 3, 2, 1. All right, I wired the power cable properly. All right, so we're looking at GPU side of things. GPU is spinning. CPU fan is spinning. Looking for a post on screen. Come on, baby. Come on. I'm watching on my OBS window here. Make sure is this thing powered on? My monitor? Yep, it's on. All right, I heard it loop once. It is really quiet. So I'm hoping that it's just going through memory training and stuff here. Come on, baby. Don't fail me. We don't have any debug LED lights or anything, so come on. I think it's boot looping. No. Got everything spinning properly. Man. No, come on. I'm gonna come around the front. Oh, it did post. I didn't see it on my camera. Sweet. I couldn't see this. I don't know how long that was there. Hold on. Yeah, it's just saying no detectable boot media. Oh man, it was probably sitting like that for a while. I'm gonna put in a keyboard and see if we can just get into BIOS real quick. I got one around here somewhere. I might just, yeah, I'm gonna steal my dongle from the streaming PC. We'll do that. Heck yeah. Yeah, I couldn't see it. Yeah, I got a bright light in my face, so I guess it was probably fine for a while. Thank God. I did not want to have to tear back into this thing. And then let's do, is my keyboard still alive? I don't know if it's going to work on wireless right off the rip like this. I want to get into BIOS. Let's see. I got that going. Let me just manually plug in my keyboard, actually. Got the cable around here somewhere. I did. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. You know what? Actually, I found a different keyboard. Do this one. This one's a junky keyboard, but it'll work. I just want to show proof of... Yeah, I got a plug-in keyboard right here. I always got stuff. Show a little bit better proof of the work here. I think I might just have to reboot and just mash the delete key to get into BIOS, because it sees there's a drive there, but then it's like, hey, there's no media to boot. Yeah, I'm gonna power it off real quick. Man, I couldn't see that at all. Okay, so this thing's quiet. I'll get my mic close to it here in 2 seconds, but let me turn it back on, and then we're just gonna mash delete, get us into BIOS. So make sure things look okay. There's the Oris thing. There we go. We getting in? Okay. What does that say? I can't see it. Oh, BIOS has been reset. Okay. So if you guys happen to catch a short that I did recently, I did actually flash the latest BIOS on that. So it was a short I did last week. My friend also wanted to make sure he was on the latest BIOS. I was like, well, let's do it before we get it in there. You can do it whenever, but all right. So we are on the latest BIOS. Let's just take a quick gander. I'm going to come around to the other side of the camera, see what we got here. Okay, so CPU looks to be operating fine as far as temperature goes. We've got all 64 gigs detected of RAM. We're just operating at base frequency. Yeah, everything looks good. I don't know if you guys can see that too well. CPU is spinning at, fan is spinning at about 2200 RPMs. It's a small fan. It's probably going to spin pretty fast. But yeah, as far as acoustics, like sound, what am I hearing the most of? I'm definitely hearing the most of the CPU fan, but it's really quiet. So let me get my mic a little closer. Well, here's the back of the fan that's spinning on the power supply. Nothing. Up here, CPU fan. Again, we're just idling, so it probably can ramp up and get louder. But Sucker's quiet. Heck yeah. Put that back on my shirt. So GPU side, and then we've got CPU side. Thanks. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on the journey with me. It was a fun one. I thinking back on that CPU cooler, I struggled way more than I needed to, but I guess, you know, you see it once and then you don't forget, and I definitely won't forget about that one. But yeah, panels going on, so they will go on kind of like, oh, I just realized I needed to actually put these on before I put the front panel on, because now I can't. So I'm gonna have to take the front panel back off, which was hard to get on, and then put that on, and then put the front panel on. So yay me. But anyway, I mean, I think it's better anyway to have them off just to show off everything working and doing what it should be doing. So thanks guys for joining me on the stream. More to come soon, so give you guys a quick heads up. I've got some budget build stuff coming back. This is more of just fun for an ITX build of this size that I've never done before. I had a lot of fun building in it. There was some struggle points, but I expected that. I will be doing a follow-up video of just kind of a full benchmark suite of this system. So we're going to test, make sure, you know, thermally it's operating okay. What kind of game? It should game really, really well, being a Ryzen 7 5700X 3D and a 4060. And yeah, so we'll have a little summary kind of video on that. And then maybe I'll double check, do some research on that 120mm fan retrofit. I think we're just running into the motherboard being the problem with that. Possibly the RAM too, I don't know. But I'll do some more research on that. If we can make it work, then it'll be in the summary video. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate your time. And also, Ed, thank you so much for the help. I think I would have been struggling a lot longer on this build if it weren't for you. So thank you. Appreciate you joining in and sticking with us. All right, guys, that'll do it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night football if there's anything left. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.